I want to welcome today my friend philek. We've worked on the same exact records at times. We've been recording people in the Northwest for 30 years plus, and we've got a crazy kinship, and we really need to hang out more often. So here we are today at Avast.
It's true.
So, Phil, one of the questions that Geoff and I both came up with was Robin Pecknold's vocal sound. And in Band of Horses, too, is somewhat similar on some of the stuff you did. A lot of reverb, but carefully done. So let's get a little gear geeky or something, and let's talk about how some of that was done and how and your philosophy and ideas about it, too.
The reverb thing started with Band of Horses. That was the first time I did that. And the reason I even did that was back in the when that band was first playing around in Seattle. Ben Bridwell, used to sing through a little vocal processor. That's where his microphone was in.
Plugged in into the front of the house.
And front house, and so he could have reverb in his monitors.
Yeah.
And it was a fucking ton of reverb, and it was always distorted, and it sounded kind of crazy, but it was just what they sounded like to me.
Sure.
Majority of the time on that record was spent on his vocals. Kicked everybody else out of the band. Go away.
Out of the room, you mean?
I mean, out of the room. Yeah. Not
out of the band.
Fuck you guys, get out of this band, out of the room.
That's good.
And so me and him worked on vocals for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was hard for him, but I wanted it to sound anthemic because the songs are so anthemic, and I wanted him to sing loudly and clearly and not shout at me because he was kind of shouting originally. Yeah. So I wanted it to sound big and full, and in that was also the soaring aspect of reverb. So that's was a 4ADL, that one right there, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
It was this actual one?
That actual one right there.
This lexicon.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
So I just threw a ton on there, and it just felt right to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were confused by that when they first heard it live. Like, it's a lot of reverb.
Yeah, sure.
But I thought it sounded great. And the biggest trick with reverb in general is low end control. And just scooping it out, get rid of it.
Yeah, like on the send to the reverb.
Or the send and the return. Yeah, just lop it off around 250 and have it go away because it's just going to cloud the whole mix. Yeah. So that's probably the biggest thing is to be able loud reverb is getting rid of low end.
Are you like de-essing going into reverbs at all?
I barely de-ess ever. I just not a de-esser.
But I mean like a de-ess that's only feeding the reverb, not even
never
that?
Done that, no.
Okay.
I've actually never done it once.
And
mostly because I don't know why. I guess maybe I can't tell if this is how I record things or I don't know. I just don't do it.
Maybe you picked the right mic.
I guess so, yeah. Told him to stop doing that.
Yeah, don't make those sounds.
Don't make that S sound.
Yeah.
And with Robin's records, we actually... it's probably here somewhere in this studio, but Casey Westcott, the keyboard player, had a studio with his brother, and they owned a EMT 140, and they actually brought it into the original Avast over on Stone Way,
right?
And that's what we mixed through, and it was the first like an actual 140.
Yeah,
and
it takes like 4 people to move those damn things.
It's heavy as hell, but we did, one. And it was I lived with the original Avast forever, and then when that closed, it moved over here, and I think Stuart officially bought it now.
Oh yeah, I wonder where it's hiding.
Well, there's one way back there, but I'm not sure if that's it.
Oh yeah, there's one there. I see the corner.
Yeah, but anyways, and that was Robin wanted a lot more reverb than I initially wanted to have on it, but that was his folk thing. That was his 60s folk thing that he was just super stoked on.
Sure.
So, I mean, it was something I wanted as well, but we and him were like, we went back and forth a bit on that first record. But it was just eventually it was like we got to a point where it was like, this sounds like a good balance, and it did suit his vocals a lot,
right?
And the style of the music a lot.
Are you using with the plate with the EMT? Are you using a pre-delay at all?
No.
I know. I've never.
No.
I was just telling someone yesterday, like I've tried that over and over, and I've never quite been happy.
Yeah, I've never been able to get the milliseconds the way I want it to sound. Where it didn't sound too dry, and then the verb after it.
Right, like blooming out after the vocal.
I never no. So I don't TS it pre-delay, but I definitely do lots of EQ. Of it in sometimes back in the day of like I used to molt things back and like send it through a totally different EQ'd molt of the, off the recorded signal. So I send it a way thinner send.
Right. Yeah.
Like just really scooped out.
Yeah, what you send into a plate, a real physical plate reverb is really important.
And how hard you hit it.
Oh,
you have to really be careful how hard you hit it. Because if you hit it too hard, it's just going to clang at you and sound terrible. Yeah,
you got that speakery thing with a bolt in it.
Yeah.
Affixed to a big sheet of steel, and it's like there's only so much excursion.
Yeah, and it sounds terrible. So
yeah.
That, and then we had we used a bunch of different verbs. Stuart has this like smaller spring that we used to use, and then the master room we used to use. Yeah, different scents probably. Then background vocals would have different things on it to give it different characters and stuff like that.
Yeah. To set them apart from the main reverb.
Yeah. Also, just to not overload them.
Yeah.
So that we wouldn't be having too many things going into the plate, so that it wouldn't still sound lush and full and clear.
Oh my God, I was working on a record where they were just trying to put everything into the plate all the time, and I'm like, it is just, it's just too many harmonic things happening in the sheet of steel that it's vibrating.
It just sounds bad, and it's one of those things. If you send too much reverb into anything, then nothing sounds like it has reverb. If that makes sense, because there's reverb on everything that it just
kind of negates.
Yeah, it negates the whole thing. There's no three-dimensionality if you have everything going through the same thing.
With the physical reverbs, like a spring or a plate, actual ones, do you ever put noise gates on those?
Yeah, and sometimes I compress them too.
Yeah. So what's coming back out?
Yeah, just to really make it. Because there's like some of them only like some springs are just reverb, and you just have, there's no like length control over a master room. It just is. The only way you get less of it is gate it or turn the high end down or something.
Right.
But sometimes you want it to feel longer. So I guess I've not pre-delayed, but I have delayed reverb before.
Oh right, just nudge it in the box
or delayed it just
delays.
Just to make it feel carrier.
That kind of makes sense.
Sort of works.
put it where it works best.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but the compression can be really cool.
Yeah,
you can really hold it in
I do that a lot in the box. Actually, I find myself doing that with the plugins. I'll be like, man, let's just mash it, so it just doesn't go away.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I do that with because most of the reverbs now are definitely plugins, and the 140 plugin is UA's great. And I use Capital Chambers reverb all the time. Sounds amazing.
It's lush.
It's great. And so I don't use much real ones so much anymore, but who does?
Me?
I used to mix in this room a lot, and I haven't in a long time. So I probably would if I was here mixing more often.
If things are all set up and ready, and it's easy to use, it's so fun to just. I did yesterday. I was actually doing dub mixes, and everything was like tape delay, spring, three different spring reverbs, and a plate, and no digital anything.
That's cool.
It was really fun. So
and noisy.
It was there is hum all through those mixes.
Hum and hiss everywhere.
Yeah, it's gonna be what it is.
That's cool. But I mix on this board all the time. I mix Fleet Foxes, Helplessness Blues on this board, and 2 Father John Misty records on this board.
Yeah.
Rockband record on this board.
The previous Avast had a different API, right?
And Tucker has it.
Right, it's a Tucker Martin studio. Yeah. I mixed on that when Tucker, before he moved into his newer space. Right. And I mixed on it at Avast years ago. Yeah, didn't you guys? We did Sleater Candy.
Yeah. I remember that with you and John. Yeah, I remember that.
So fun.
Which record was that?
All Hands on the Bad One.
That's right.
Yeah, no, One Beat.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
I remember bumping into you guys there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the last time I saw you, man.
I think so.
Dude, I think that's true.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Shit, you got to get me back in the magazine.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for all that information.
Yeah, cool.
It's really fun to pick another engineer's brain, because I think sometimes we sit here and we learn our little tricks that we do. Are you working the same as me, or am I crazy?
Does this work or not work?
Exactly. But thanks so much, Phil.
Awesome. Thank you.